Hi everyone, my name is Amy and I'm one of the children's librarians with the Granville County Library System. Welcome back to another Kids Tech Time. Today we are going to be making a Star Hunter game through Scratch, and this is the example of what we're going to be making. This is a really fun game. As you can see, the octopuses on the screen, if you touch the octopus, then your game is over. And the goal is to get the cat to touch all the stars that appear randomly on the screen and to see if we can get a high score, which you can see up here. So this is a really fun game. This is going to be, once again, a little bit more advanced. With each month that we do the Scratch, we're getting a little bit more advanced with all the things that we learn how to code. But all of these are very kid-friendly, and once again, we have the books available at the library for you guys to check out if you want more examples or you just learn better by reading through a book. But this is going to be a really fun game for us to make. As always, Scratch is completely free, so you don't actually have to have an account to use Scratch. It is encouraged if you want to save your game or if you want to share your game, especially since we're actually creating a game. This is a great idea. You can send this game to your friends and stuff and have them play, and you can kind of test each other with high scores and such, and you can only do that if you have an account. But you don't actually have to have an account to use Scratch. It's just highly encouraged. So once again, to get on to the program we're using in order to code, we're going to go to scratch.mit.edu, and you can go to Create, and it'll come up with a whole new page. When it does, there it goes. When it does, you'll once again see these color blocks here. For this game, we're basically using these color blocks like a jigsaw puzzle. Each block is an instruction that tells our sprite over here what to do. So we're going to start by using this sprite, the cat. Last week we actually used dinosaurs. This week we're going to be using 3 different kinds of sprites: the cat, the octopus, and the star. So the first thing we want to do is we want this cat to follow wherever our mouse pointer goes. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to our motion blocks, and we're going to have this motion go to random position. We're going to drag it over here to this gray area. If you click on the down arrow, you're going to see the mouse pointer. This means that whenever our game is ready, wherever our mouse goes, our cat will follow, which is what we want when we play this game. Next, we're going to go to our control colored, our orange color, which is control blocks, and we're going to use the forever. This is once again creating a loop. This forever loop means that for as long as this game is playing, our cat will always, always, always go wherever our mouse is pointing. It will never deviate or never go away from where our mouse is pointing. There are obviously different kinds of loops you can create, and in the books that we have in the library, it shows you how to make different kinds of loops, because you can make loops for any number of times. For instance, there is actually a block over here that says repeat 10 times. So you can create a loop that has a limited number of times you want it to do whatever it is you're wanting it to do. But for us, for the point of this game, we always want our cat to follow our mouse. And once again, of course, we always need to have our when the green flag is clicked up at the very top, because this is saying that whenever we click this green flag, our cat does whatever it is we want it to do. All right. So, because we're going to be under the sea, we want to create a sound. So let's go over here. If you go over to the top left, you see code, costumes, and sounds. Click on the sound button and come down here where you're going to see it's a little sound icon. It says choose a sound. Now let's see, what sound do you make when you're under the sea? Well, usually you're holding your breath, but if you ever let go of the breath, it just kind of sounds like bubbles. So let's type in the word bubbles. There it is right there. You can play it. And click on that sound. Play it again, see? And that's the sound we want, because obviously we're going to be under the sea. So we make sure we have that sound. Now, and actually we're going to get rid of the meow because cats can't really meow under the sea. Next, Obviously, if you're going to be under the sea, the cat can't necessarily be floating in a plain, boring white box. So let's make it fun. Now let's come over here to the bottom right corner where we have backdrops, and it says choose a backdrop. We're going to be underwater, so let's type in the word underwater, and we have two choices, underwater 1 and underwater 2. I personally like underwater 2, but you can choose the other one if you want. And look, now our cat is floating under the sea, so that's really awesome. So to make sure that our cat makes that bubble sound, we want to once again come over here to the bottom right where under the word stage, and it has a picture of our backdrop. We're going to press it, and that way whatever code we put in this gray box here, it will only apply to the backdrop. So we're going to, once again, when the green flag is clicked, drag that over so that when I would press the green flag, all of our bubble sound will appear. And we're going to go to our pink button, which says sound. Play sound. Oh, I think we got to find the bubble sound again. My bad. Let's find the bubble sound again. There it is. Now we're good. So we're going to have, so like I said, if we mess up, because this is a mess up, it says play sound pop. We don't want it to play pop. So it does mess up. So we're gonna click on that, and it's gonna take it off of our gray area code block there, and we're just gonna kind of drag it over here and let go of our mouse, and it'll just kind of be erased. So play sound bubbles until done is what we want. And once again, we want to create a loop that will last for the entire length of the game, so we want the forever button to play. And this is once again saying that forever, for as long as the game is happening, the bubble sound will happen, because we're once again under the water. We've got to have realistic sound for under the water. Now, for it to be a game, we need an enemy, because that makes things interesting. So we are going to add an octopus with a deadly sting. The octopus will patrol the stage, moving left and right, and the player will, which is our sprite, will have to keep out of its way until the game is over. That's our goal, is we have to keep out of the way of the octopus and collect the stars until the game will be over. So to do so, we need to add another sprite to our list of characters down here at the bottom. Do so, come over here to this kind of cat looking icon here where it says choose a sprite next to it. And you have a gazillion sprites here, so you can actually choose whichever enemy you want. You don't have to use an octopus. If you want there to be a bear at the bottom of the ocean, or maybe there's an evil cake, or maybe or a dinosaur, or maybe there's a dog, or I don't know, or whatever you want to be. We're going to stick with the octopus. But, it doesn't have to be. And so now we have two sprites here. And so now we're going to do some special coding that will be just for our octopus. First is we want the octopus to move in certain places. So, first we want the octopus to move all around the space. We don't want it just to stay in one place, nor do we want the octopus to follow our mouse. The octopus is going to be independent of whatever our cat does. So, once again, let's go over here to events and do when the green flag is clicked. Because that means that whenever the game starts, our octopus will start going all over the screen. Next, I'll go over here to motion, and you see move 10 steps. Now, the move 10 steps is going to determine how fast our octopus moves. 10 is actually very fast. So we are going to change this number to, we're going to stick with 5, and you can make it as low as 1. You can even make it faster than 10. You can make it go as high as you want to go. My suggestion is, because it's a game, you can even do something called like levels, where you can start off with a low number, maybe like 1, 2, 3, or 5 like we're doing now. And then as you get good at the game, you can go back into the code and you can change this number however often you want to change it to make it as hard as you want to. We are also only going to be adding 3 octopuses to the screen, but if you want to make it harder, you can add more octopuses, or you can add more underwater creatures, and there are ways that you can make this crazy hard or super easy. And so you can go up in levels and you can make this a really, really awesome game. But for now, we're going to have to move 5 steps just to kind of make it a little slower to start out, so we actually have a chance of beating this game to start out with. Next, we want to add another code that says if on edge, bounce to it. And this means that when the octopus hits the edges of our screen, it will bounce off and go the opposite direction. And once again, we want to have the forever loop so that forever, as long as the game is going on, the octopuses will keep on moving, and if they ever touch the edge of the game, they will always bounce off. So let's go ahead and press the green button, see what happens. So as you can see, our octopus is moving left to right, but half the time he is upside down. Oh no, so how do we fix it? I mean, I guess it's not a bad thing for octopus to be upside down, but it probably is not a good thing. Well, this can be easily changed by setting the rotation style. So we're going to go back to our motion blocks, and we're going to find the block that says set rotation style. There it is right here, and it says left to right. This will keep the octopus right side up, so he's not going upside down half the time. So it's going to be like this. See, now he's right. Now he's not going upside down, which is what we want. All right. So now the cat and the octopus are in the same screen together, but they're not really doing anything. Like if the octopus touches the cat, then it's not a big deal. Well, that's not a very fun game. We want to make our game so that whenever the cat and the octopus run into each other, the game is automatically stopped, because that means game over. So we have to add a special bit of code to our octopus so that happens, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure our octopus sprite is highlighted down here. That means that whenever this is highlighted, that whatever code is in this gray box, it applies only to that specific sprite. So for instance, I'm going to press the cat button, the cat sprite, and our code changed because that's the only code we have here for our cat. And octopus, that's the code here we have here for our octopus. And we're going to go over here to control, and we're going to do, once again, another if-then block, and we're going to drag it over here. Now, we did this last month when we made our dinosaur dance party. If you don't remember what I mean, the if-then block says that whenever you decide, let's say you want to do something, whatever, you will put something special in this little dark orange area right here, and whenever that happens, whatever is inside the code will then follow. Basically, it's kind of like making a decision. Let's say it's raining. If it's raining, then you might use an umbrella. If it's not raining, you're not using an umbrella. Does that make sense? So basically, it's if something is happening, then you're going to make a decision to do something in response to that. That's what your if-then button is saying. So for us, if, and we're going here to our light blue buttons right here, where it has the word sensing. And we want, let's see here, touching the mouse pointer is what we're going to have, okay? Touching mouse pointer. But we want to have that little drop down arrow, and we want it to say, oh, I messed up. Hold up, guys. Hold up. Let's erase that. We need to change the cat sprite to the word cat, because that'll make a lot more sense. So before we go any further, highlight sprite down here at the very bottom where my mouse is, and come over here to where it says sprite, and then next to where it says sprite 1. We're going to erase that and put the word cat. And that will make a lot more sense as we're going on. So now our sprite is called cat. Now we can go back and do our if-then button. So once again, highlight the octopus sprite, and we have our if-then block. Come over here to sensing, and we're going to do touching mouse pointer. And as I'm dragging it into this gray area, and I'm dragging it over the if-then coding block, you'll see that that dark orange empty space is highlighted. And that means I can let go of my mouse and it just kind of pops right in there. And we're going to have this drop-down menu, and we're going to say cat. This is saying that if the octopus is touching the cat, then whatever we put inside this code will happen. So let's go over to control, and we're going to have the words stop all, and we're going to put it inside. So this bit of code says that whenever our octopus, if our octopus touches the cat, then the game is stopped. It is game over. So if our octopus touches the cat, it is game over. Okay? And we're going to drag this whole bit of code. You're going to kind of click down kind of where the word if is. You're going to click there, and we're going to drag it so that it's inside our forever block underneath the dark blue other codes we have going on here. So that when you're done, this is what your code should look like. This whole bit of code says that when we press the green flag, our octopus moves left and right across the screen at a not so very fast pace. If it touches the edge of the screen, it bounces off and goes the opposite direction. If our octopus touches the cat, then it is game over. So let's try to make sure it works. Whoop, there you go. See, it worked. As you can see, our octopus is just minding its own business. Our cat is just minding its own business. And, yep, there it goes. It touched the cat, so then the game stopped. It is game over. Our code works. Congratulations. So, however, to make a game more fun, having just one enemy doesn't necessarily make the game fun. So, but we only have a small bit of screen. So let's make our octopus a bit smaller so that we can have more enemies in the screen, but still have a chance for us to actually win the game. All right. So we're going to go over to where it says looks, and we want to change our size. So we're going to have where it says set size to 100%. We are going to put this above our forever block and just under when the green flag is clicked. And we're going to change that number to 35. Basically, our octopus is already 100%. 100% means that your octopus is at normal sprite size that the computer says it's going to be. We're going to make it smaller because, like I said, if we have 3 octopuses on the screen, then our cat is not going to be able to move anywhere at all. And we're not going to have any chance of winning this game. So we're going to change that. So the number 100 is highlighted, and we're going to change it to 35. This means that whenever the green flag is clicked, our octopus gets really, really small. So, like that. Our octopus just got crazy small. And as we're moving around, once again, if our octopus touches the cat, then it is game over. As you're playing this game and as you're getting really big, you can always come over here to the code and you can always change the 35 to make it bigger. And that's one of the ways that you can make this game harder, and you can kind of go up in levels if you wanted to, is by making the octopus bigger and making it a little more challenging. Also, having an octopus that's only moving left to right is not very exciting. So let's come over here to the motion. And we are going to have where it says point and direction 90. We talked a little bit about this last time when we were doing our dance party, and we had the dinosaur move left to right. And you're going to learn a lot more about the different directions in math class in the next several years, especially as you're doing what's called graphing. So I'm going to try to explain it to you a little bit right now, but it may not make total sense until you can actually really learn how to graph things. Basically, this number where it says 90 is basically a type of direction. So you see when I press the word 90, this circle comes up. This determines that the direction that our sprites move. You can have this direction anywhere from negative 179 to 180, okay? Negative numbers, which means that there's a minus sign in front of it. So if I have minus 90 in front of it, you see that my arrow popped in the exact opposite direction. If I get rid of that minus sign, it is back to the other direction. So basically, numbers without the minus sign make the sprites go to the right. Numbers with the minus sign make the sprites go to the left. If this number was 0, 0 makes the numbers go up, and 180 makes the numbers go down. So basically, you are determining which direction you want your sprites to move. Okay? We are going to say the number 135 instead of 90. This is going to allow our sprite to pretty much go in a bunch and diagonally across the screen instead of left to right. And as we add more sprites, it's going to make it harder because it's going to go diagonally across the screen. Okay? So once again, this is what your code should look like when all is done. And if you need help remembering what just happened, you can always press rewind and go to the part that you don't understand. You can also, once again, check these books out from the library and kind of follow the books because there are the pictures in the books that kind of show you exactly what to do as well. Next, like I said, only having one enemy doesn't make a game fun. So, like we did last time, we're going to go down to our sprite. We're going to make sure octopus is highlighted, and you're going to right click. And when you right click, you have 3 options. You have the word delete, which gets rid of our sprite. We don't want to do that. Export, which is once again a conversation for another day. Or duplicate, which is copy. So we're going to copy it, and we're going to copy it 3 times so that we have 3 sprites on 3 octopus on the screen. And all 3 have the same coding because we just copied it over. But in order to make it a little bit harder and a little more challenging, we're going to change the pointer direction. So we said in the first octopus that's going to be 135, and that means that our first octopus is going to go diagonally across the screen. Let's change octopus number 2, and we're going to set it to 0 so that it will go up and down. And for octopus number 3, we're going to put in a fun little bit of code that's basically going to make that octopus go randomly. Making it go randomly means that we are not going to sit here and tell the direction we want the octopus to go. The computer will decide where the octopus goes for us. We will have no control over where that octopus is going to go. To do so, we're going to go to our green button, okay, where it says operators. And we're going to choose the words pick random 1 to 10. We're going to click that and we're going to drag it into, you see kind of where the 135 is, where it kind of highlighted there. And we're going to just let it click into place right there. And we are going to change these numbers to -179 and to 180. So it looks just like this. So it's -17. So basically it's going to say pick random -179 to 180. This little bit of code, this one itty bitty block, basically says the octopus 3 will go wherever it wants to go on the screen, and we have no control over where it goes on the screen. Once again, as you get really good at this game, you can make it harder, and you can add this little bit of code to the other 2 octopuses, and that would mean that all 3 of the octopuses will be completely random across the screen, and that will make it a little more challenging. Especially as you make them bigger if you wanted to. You can actually really make it hard, like really hard, if you wanted to do so. But we're just going to stick with 1 octopus right now because, once again, we want the chance to actually win the game before we lose it all the time. Next, we need to collect our stars because this is going to let us win points and stay alive. In Star Hunter, we're going to use gold stars that are kind of like underwater treasures that we have to collect. Okay, so first thing we gotta do is we gotta get the sprite, our gold star. So once we come down here to our cat little icon where it says choose a sprite, and you're gonna, in the search box, you're gonna type the word star, S-T-A-R. And you have different options you can use. We're gonna use this option here, but you can use the other if you want to. And you don't have to use a star. You can use different other sprites, really any sprites you want as treasure, but we're gonna use the star. Alright, so now that we have the star on the screen, now we get to add another little bit of code. And this is the code we're going to use. First, once again, we've got to go over to events and make sure we have when the green flag is clicked. This is going to say that whenever the green flag is clicked, whatever we have on code is going to happen. So whenever we press this green flag, whatever is code underneath will happen. We want to come back to control and have another if-then. An if-then block pop up. Come over here to sensing, our light blue. And we want touching mouse pointer. Once again, you're going to pop that into that dark orange space that's kind of highlighted there. You're going to pop it in. And we're going to change mouse pointer to cat. And as you can see, these are all the sprites that we have available. But we're going to change to cat. This is saying that if the star touches the cat, then whatever is inside this code is going to happen. So, what we're going to do is we are going to go over to this motion. And we are going to we're going to choose this block. It says go to X negative 197 or Y negative 27. Okay, so we are going, so it's kind of going back to the whole graphing thing where basically we are allowing the star to go anywhere it wants on the screen. Come over here to our operators, which is the green, and once again pick the random 1 to 10. And we're going to pop it into this first little circle here, choose it again, and pop it into the second little circle here. So this is what your code should look like. Go to X, pick random 1 to 10, Y, pick random 1 to 10 is what it should say. Let's change for go to X, pick random. We're going to change this number to minus 200. And then this number to just normal 200. For the Y, we're going to choose minus 150, which is 150, and then normal 150. This little bit of code, whoops, I messed up. There it goes. This little bit of code says that whenever the cat touches the star will once again then randomly pop up at a different point on the screen. It will be random. We will not have any control over where the star points up on the screen, okay? So whenever the cat touches the star will then move to another different point on the screen. And the purpose is that we have to keep collecting the stars, okay? So whenever we see the star, we've got to go and touch it because that's our way of collecting it. And then that star will move to another point on the screen. And we've got to once again figure out how we can touch the cat without touching the octopus. If you want to get kind of mathy and you want to see exactly where on the screen your star is currently at, you can go over here to motion and you can click the box X position and Y position, and you see on your screen you have star position negative 97 and Y position minus 27. If we were to play this game, these numbers will change depending on wherever our star is on the screen. So I'm going to press the green button. Actually, hold up. Let's go ahead and make sure our loops, let's come over here to control. And let's make sure the word forever is over our code here that we did for the star. That way it will always, our star will always change positions. So I'm going to press green and we're going to play our game real quick. And I want you to watch these numbers and watch how they change depending on wherever the star shows up on the screen, okay? I cannot promise I'll be good at this game, but I'll try. So you see how the numbers are changing depending on wherever the star is on the screen. Oh, I ran into an octopus and stopped. Okay? And we can get rid of that easily by going back over here to motion and unclicking X and unclicking Y. Now, the sound we have right now is bubbles, and that's kind of fun, but we kind of want a little fun extra sound for whenever we touch the star, because that tells us we touched the star, we got our goal, congratulations to us. So let's go. So we got to make sure our star sprite is highlighted here. We're going to go over to sounds. And you can once again choose a sound. I already know the sound we're going to choose is called fairy dust. There it is. Play. And so it's that kind of that really fun, like, oh, you got the star sound. So we're going to click that. And we're going to add this sound. So we already have if touching cat. Let's add the block. Play sound fairy dust until done. We're going to have it over the go to different position, but inside, but just under if touching cat. So this is what your code should look like for the star. When the green flag is clicked, and we have the forever loop, that means that for however long this game is existing, so that means forever and always, as long as this game is existing, every time the cat touches the star, the sound fairy dust will play, and the star will go to a different point on the screen. So let's play this. Let's press the green flag and let's see what happens. I'm frozen. Oh no. There it goes. There we go. See? Now, because it's a game, we want to keep count as to how many stars we are collecting, because especially if you want to share this with some friends, this is a really fun way to, see you can get the high score, or see you can, beat however many stars you want to get, Also, if you are making this harder for yourself and you want to, get really good at this game, it's a really fun added thing to do. We're going to create some little codes that it keeps track of how many stars we created. So we want to go over to this dark orange coding block right over here, and we're going to press the button that says make a variable, and this is going to make a new code. Okay, we're going to name our code score, because that's what we're doing. We're keeping score. You can change this code so that's for all the sprites or just for only the sprite that you have highlighted. We're going to make sure this is for all the sprites for now. We're going to press OK. Now, and as you can see, we have our score button kind of came to the top left-hand corner. We can change this to wherever we want on the screen. I'm going to keep it locked in the top left-hand corner here, because that's just kind of easiest. All right, so the first thing we want to do is we want so that whenever the cat touches the star, we want this number to increase by 1, okay? So go ahead and we're going, just make sure your star sprite is highlighted, and you're going to add set my variable to 0. And you're going to add it above the forever block. So do not put it inside the forever block loop. You're going to have it above it. So basically, it's going to have when the green flag is clicked, and we're going to have this little drop-down menu, and you see score, which is the code we just created. You're going to have score there. So it's going to set the score to 0. So every time you lose the game and you click the green flag again, it will always set your score back to 0. And it'll do the whole thing as to whenever the cat touches the star, the fairy dust sound plays, and the star goes to a random point on the screen. Okay. Next, we also want to add, now we're going to choose that same block. It says set my variable to 0, and we're going to put it now inside the if then block, okay? So we have it twice on the screen. We have it once just underneath when the green flag is clicked, and again just under if touching cat code. Once again, change the my variable through the drop down box to score. And we're going to change this number to 1. Now, this code says that whenever we click the green flag, our score in the score box will always be changed right back to 0, so we start at the beginning. Then whenever the cat touches the star, this score will increase by 1. So it'll keep going up. And the fairy dust sound will play and the star will go to a different point on the screen. Okay? So, let's play the game and let's see what happens, okay? So make our screen big. Let's press the green flag. Ah, I just lost. Oh no. Let's try again. Oh, I'm frozen. Sorry, I got to use my little computer. Oh no! Oh, I messed up. My score's not changing. Okay, so that's perfectly fine. I see that my score is not changing, so I need to go back and I need to change that. And so I need to figure out how and why my score is not changing. I think it might be, let me try. I have it correctly. Well, that's perfectly fine. This is something that I can figure out. Oh, that's because I had the wrong code. So, oh, boggers. Okay. So this is, okay, so I'm going to have to redo a little bit of the code here. Don't worry, guys. I'll fix it and make sure it comes back. So, I had the wrong code. I had set score to 0. I want to change my score by 1. That's what I want to do. Let's redo that so it plays the fairy dust. And let's go back so that we have the go to this position, go there, and go there. Change this to -200. And as you can see, if you mess up or you realize an area that you did incorrectly, it's perfectly fine. You can just kind of go back and figure out what you did wrong, and you can change it. Not a big deal. All right, so now I think I have it changed. So let's try this now, and then I think it should work out great, okay? There it goes. Oh, I'm bad at this game, though. Okay, so actually, I'm not the best at this game. Sorry about that, guys. But you guys are probably a lot better than I am at this game. Than I am. But this is our Star Hunter game. We did it, guys. Alright, so the fun thing about this game is you can actually add a lot more stuff to make it even harder, okay? I'm not going to do it this time around, but if you want to check out the books we have here at the library, you can actually create even a kind of an extra bit of code so that at least one, maybe even 2 of the octopuses will chase the cat around the screen, which can make it even harder. You can even change the octopuses so that it kind of gives them a swimming motion. And so it looks like actually swimming through the sea, which is even cooler. So you can even do a lot more stuff if you just want to check out the books at the library. But this is this week's coding project as we created our own Star Hunter game. Join us again next month, and we're going to make a Tunnel of Doom. Dun dun dun. But hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.